Let's talk about background checks. Uber and Lyft both run their own background checks, usually using the program Checker. These background checks look for both traffic violations as well as criminal background. The criminal background check is primarily looking at violent charges, such as assault charges or sex offenses. But they also look at felonies, drug offenses, and theft or property damage. When looking at criminal background, major violations could result in a lifetime ban no matter when the offense happened. They may go back in time as far as they feel justified. Be aware that they generally don't look at civil matters unless the civil matter is also criminal, such as domestic violence charges. Protection orders, commonly known as restraining orders, also are variable depending on state and depending on whether they care. Protection orders are usually civil matters, although they often come with criminal charges. There's a common misconception that they don't look back further than 7 years. The reason people think this is because they look back a minimum of 7 years. But for serious charges, they will go back further than that, and sometimes for non-serious charges. For traffic violations, they're primarily looking at what some would consider a serious traffic violation, meaning not a routine traffic stop. Although you're probably fine if you only have a few speeding tickets, you might not be. It's hard to know before they actually run it. Something to know about the criminal system in the United States is that it is very different depending on what state you're in. Different states have different record-keeping methods. This means that the same offense in different states could have wildly different results on a background check. Some drivers have reported that a DUI from 5 years ago did not result in deactivation, while others it has. Now, something to note is that this doesn't just affect you if you're a brand new driver, it can also affect current drivers. Uber has had a lot of negative press recently, and they've kind of been upping their security standards. That means they're rerunning background checks constantly. Sometimes there's a waiting period when they rerun a background check and you might not be able to go online for that period. Usually when this happens, it's because they are planning to deactivate the driver long term. But sometimes it's just because they're investigating further. If you're temporarily deactivated for a background check, you should probably be worried, honestly. A couple examples of these rechecking negatively impacting drivers is I know a driver who was a driver for a year, and recently a misdemeanor offense from 2014 has come back and resulted in them being deactivated. That particular misdemeanor was for hitting a highway fixture and not reporting it. One driver said that they had their license suspended in 1995 and Uber is now deactivating them for it. That driver was charged with driving under a suspended license because of speeding tickets that they hadn't paid. There are also cases of Uber never really processing someone's background check. I know a driver who applied for both Uber and Lyft at the same time. Lyft accepted them and Uber never processed. Jesus. The most important thing to take away from this is that it really is wildly variable. Every state's record keeping is different, and you really don't know what is or isn't going to show up until you try it. And even then, a few years down the line, they could run an additional background check and you could be deactivated for something that was on your record already. This is one of the many reasons that I always say do not rely on Uber and Lyft as your sole income if you can avoid it. These companies have a lot of control over your ability to work, so you want to be careful putting all your eggs in one basket. I always recommend Uber and Lyft as supplementary income or for in between when looking for other jobs. That's all I have. I hope this has been informative for you. As always, please leave comments. Right now I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers, so if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Bye and drive safe!